Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's fourth video. We're going to have a look at where the next 10 to 14 days for today's fourth video. Day 10 will take us to around the 4th of October. Can you believe that? And we'll be able to extend out beyond that. We extended GFS and ECM ensembles, maybe around a couple of weeks. We're going to have a look at CFS V2 for October at the end of the video. I shall get on with that for you in a moment. Just to say about the first video release today was our 7 AM forecast. We also released the ECM WF 42-day forecast as well as JMA Friday. So very much an extended, focus on the extended range today for the next 4 to 6 weeks, which does of course cover October. And yeah, so have a look at those two videos if you'd like to do that. And I'm going to be live streaming after 10 o'clock tonight, so I shall see you live for a bit of Friday night fun, and that will be coming up after 10. I'll tell you what's coming up over the weekend at the end of this video. We're going to begin in the tropical Atlantic, so here we go there. We've got Hurricane Sam, more about that in a moment, but let's deal with the two disturbance areas first of all. So we've got a yellow X just here. That is disturbance 2. It only has a 20% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 and 5 days, so I don't think we have to worry too much about that. We still have this disturbance area here, the remnants of Odette, currently with a 40% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 to 5 days. So again, just going to watch out for what's going on with the remains of Odette. So yeah, that might reanimate. It might develop back into a tropical storm. But at the moment, it's only a 40% chance it'll do that. But really, the focus at the moment, and will be over the next days, is on Hurricane Sam down here. So Hurricane Sam is giving maximum sustained winds of 75 miles per hour. It's therefore a Category 1 hurricane now, with a minimum set pressure of 993 millibars. And Sam is moving westwards at 15 miles per hour. If we click on Sam, we can see that this is going to become a major hurricane very quickly. Going to power up to a major hurricane in the next 24 to 36 hours. Current position is just there. By tomorrow afternoon, by Saturday afternoon, up to major hurricane status, and then retaining major hurricane status as the system moves in that direction. The code area has it somewhere there to there, so it could be starting to move into the Caribbean by the time we get through to the middle of next week, again as a major hurricane. Let's have a look at discussion and see how intense this is going to become. So at the moment, the forecast is to go to a 130 mile an hour hurricane in around 2 days time, around 48 to 60 hours time. So that 130 miles per hour is just shy 1 mile an hour, I think, of Category 4. So it's like a borderline Category 4 hurricane, certainly Category 3 hurricane in any case. Very, very, very intense storm this, and a really major hurricane going to start whipping itself up in the Atlantic over the next couple of days. At the moment, there's no sign that it gets in towards like the Gulf of Mexico or the Bahamas or Cuba, Dominican Republic. Not forecast to get impacted by this. No sign yet, but it gets to the east coast of America. But it does need to be kept a very close eye on, because it's going in that sort of direction, going off to the northwest. So where this system goes, all eyes are going to be upon it. It is going to be a very, very, very intense storm this. So yeah, Hurricane Sam. I think we'll be hearing a lot about Hurricane Sam in the next few days as this very active hurricane season continues. Come back time, central temperature has dropped down to 16.8, so day by day we're shaving off around 0.1 of a degree. It's still 3 degrees above average, so still exceptionally warm September, but that has now reached parity with 2006, so the warmest September on record for CT is 2006 at 16.8. We've now reached that. So, as I've been saying, you know, 2006, September 2006, the all-time warmest September on record is safe. We're not going to beat that. It's going to carry on dropping. In fact, we'll drop further and more quickly probably through next week. I think still we're looking at around 16.0. It might just go under 16 degrees. Apparently, we've never had, let's get rid of that, apparently we've never had 15.8 or 15.9 as the CT for September, all the way back to 1659. So if we get 15.8 or we get 15.9, then that will be a first time that has happened. And, you know, it's not impossible that could happen. We might drop under 16 degrees next week, because it's going to be cooling down quite significantly next week. So, and there might be a bit of a downwards correction as well, but usually is. Yeah, it's possible we might go under 16, but we're not going to be far from like 16.0. These are GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles the next couple of weeks. We're at Letchworth Garden City today. Another suggested location for this part of video. If you'd like to have your local town or city feature within this part of video, then let us know in the comments or email me at GavsWeatherVids@gmail.com. And we're always happy to feature your local town or city when we get the chance. So red lines are 30-year upper air temperature average for Letchworth Garden City. We're starting off significantly warmer than average at the moment. You know, it's still a very warm air mass, as have been throughout the whole of the month. You can see when the cold front's coming through, though, this drop in temperature, that's the cold front pushing through, will bring heavy rain overnight Sunday into Monday, and then we're into a significantly cooler air mass through most of next week. So yes, it will be feeling genuinely autumnal through the course of next week. Beyond that, we might see a bit of a tick up in the upper air temperature beginning to appear as we go towards the second week of October. It's a very long way out, of course, but there might be a little bit of a warming trend beginning to emerge. Precipitation-wise, the next 2-3 days going to be dry. It's really from like Sunday into Monday onwards, it turns unsettled, particularly in this period here, from around 30th of September to 5th of October. It does look quite wet in this period with regular bouts of rain. Beyond that, heading towards the second week of October, we might have a little bit of a drying trend emerging. So maybe a bit of a drying and warming trend beginning to appear in the second week of October. It's extended range, though. It's a long way out and so therefore unreliable. Before we get to that, definitely looks cooler and more unsettled next week. Temperature anomalies on the 24th of September to 2nd of October going to be warmer than average. Precipitation anomalies from the 24th of September to 2nd of October, wetter than average for Ireland and also for Scotland. And even across England and Wales, not as dry as it has been, going much more towards average precipitation. So clearly there is a more unsettled trend to the weather emerging. Latest wind flow map from earthnullschool.net looks like this. So we're already introducing like an Atlantic flow into the country, but at the moment high pressure is still holding off any sort of rain towards the far northwest coast. So I believe high pressure ridging to our south that's clinging on by its fingertips. But I've been saying this like day by day through this week with the videos. In the Atlantic, things are getting much more active, much more livelier now in the Atlantic with various areas of low pressure. There's the remains of Odette just there, for example. And all these different areas of low pressure adding more and more energy in the Atlantic and to the jet stream and you know, to the zonal flow. And this is starting to break down the ridge. The ridge is weakening day by day, has been all week. So it's almost like a death by 1,000 cuts to the ridge, really. It's not going out, you know, with one big area of low pressure just blasting through. It's happening through various areas of low pressure, intensifying the jet stream and just gradually eroding the high pressure, so that by the time we get through to the end of the weekend, high pressure will break, completely, and will allow the areas of low pressure to start bringing bouts of rain in from off the Atlantic. Right, so let's have a look at some chart data then. This is how the UK Met is looking for midday on Sunday. I'm going to go through to midnight on Sunday. There we go. Midnight Sunday through to Monday. And this explains what I'm talking about. The high pressure by this point has collapsed. It's moved away and it's this area of low pressure south of Iceland that's pushing in an active weather and active cold front, and that's the one that's bringing up the first bout of rain across the country for several weeks. I'm going to go through next week. It just looks an increasingly unsettled pattern, so quite a deep area of low pressure digging in here around the middle of next week. That will bring further bouts of rain with it as well, so that looks cool, wet and windy. And even up to the very end of the UK Met run, which gets to midnight on Friday next week, still looks unsettled with low pressure pushing through the country. I can show you the precipitation forecast based on all of that. So there's the cold front just there coming in across the country overnight, Sunday into Monday. That sweeps through. Then we're left with showers, and then some longer spells of rain will start to get going through the middle part of next week. Looking quite wet across many parts of the country, the middle part but next week. And further wet weather pushing through there towards the end of next week. Another bout of heavy rain. That will particularly focus on England and Wales. So clearly it's a much more unsettled week next week, and will be a lot cooler as well. This is how the GFS midnight run is looking for midnight on Monday. Again, that cold front push across the country will bring a band of heavy rain with it, and then that will be followed by showers through to Tuesday. Again, looking quite showery. And then the next low zipping through Tuesday into Wednesday will bring a further bout of rain. More low pressure digging in from the Atlantic through the second half of next week will bring further areas of wet weather, and this unsettled weather carries on into the first weekend of October, moving up towards day 10. That's looking genuinely wet and windy again there with this area of low pressure coming in. Notice we've got the remains of Sam. That's probably still Hurricane Sam, actually, close to Newfoundland as we get through to Sunday the 3rd of October. And day 10 itself, which is Monday the 4th of October, we're trying to generate a little bit of a ridge down in the south, but fundamentally this is still a low pressure dominated unsettled weather pattern. I mean, very unsettled conditions carry on beyond that. So yes, more low pressure ploughing in from the Atlantic on this GFS run up to the 6th of October. This low, I think, that's pushing through here is the remains of Sam, actually. So we might get some wet and windy weather from the remains of Hurricane Sam around Wednesday, 6th of October on this GFS run. It stays unsettled then as we carry on right the way through to the end of the GFS midnight run. Gets us to the 10th of October. That looks very, very autumnal, doesn't it? With a deep low at 900. I think the central pressure about is 980 millibars across southwest England and South Wales. So really deep area of low pressure, autumnal area of low pressure, looking cool and wet under that area of low pressure there at the end of the GFS midnight run. 6Z looks like this. This is the very latest. So again, that cold front is pushing through from Sunday through to Monday, taking the first band of heavy rain that we've seen countrywide for many weeks away into the North Sea, and then we're left into a run of blustery westerly winds and much cooler winds as well. Next low moves in into Tuesday. That brings a further bout of wet and windy weather around the middle part of next week. That one gets out of the way. The next low is coming in around Thursday through to Friday, again bringing further spells of rain, and with wind digging in from the northwest, it will be cool as well next week. It'll be a real shock to the system, this. It's going to be a real shock to the system, a drop in temperature combined with quite a bit of rain. Something we've not had for a very long time. That low sinks away to ourselves. So interesting that we've got like a diving low coming through here on the GFS 6Z. So this is Thursday next week, Thursday 30th of September. The low pressure is to the south of Iceland. Notice we've got heights rising behind that low from both the west and also from the east and the northeast. And so the upshot is that the low gets forced southwards, the low dives southwards, and we finish up with the low sitting over France by Saturday the 2nd of October, and heights rising behind. We had quite a lot of this last winter. It's one of the reasons we had a rather cold winter last winter. We did see quite a lot of these low pressures diving, decoupling from Iceland and diving southwards through western and northern Europe. And as I say, it's one of the reasons we was pulling in winds from the north and the northeast, on and off through last winter, especially in the northern half of the country. Interesting that the GFS is going back to that sort of thing with low pressure diving south. So I say no more. than that. But yeah, whenever low pressure starts decoupling from Iceland and diving southwards into northern Europe, it is quite an interesting thing to observe. Right, running on beyond that, we go through to day 10, which is before October. Now on this GFS run, we actually start to raise the heights across West Europe. So we're going back towards higher pressure here. That's turning us drier. I think it's pretty cool though. We'd probably be expecting overnight ground frost at the very least under that ridge of high pressure. It's not a warm ridge at all, that. Beyond that, high pressure again is trying to get going over Scandinavia. At the same time, we've got deep low pressure in the Atlantic. This is the remains of Hurricane Sam, I think, just here to the south of Greenland and Iceland. So, in the extended range of GFS 6, a proper old battle getting going, actually. High pressure in over Scandinavia is trying to drag in east winds. At the same time, the low pressure in the Atlantic are trying to bring in their westerlies. Probably temperatures lift up a little bit as the winds go more south-southeast, but it's nowhere near as warm as it has been through September. And that's how we finish up, I should say, with the GFS 6Z on Sunday the 10th of October. It looks like we're going to try and pull in an easterly wind there, doesn't it, with high pressure taking over across Scandinavia. Around the back of the high, there's actually quite a bit of cold air digging into western Russia and the east of Europe. Of course, it's a transitional time of year, so easterlies in September, as we have just experienced, are going to be quite warm. But if these easterlies start digging in October, then they will readily start to get a chill to them. And if the easterlies dig in November, then we can even start thinking about bringing snow in from the east, especially later on in November. So the weather that you get with an easterly in September is very different to the weather that you get with an easterly in November at the end of the autumn. It's all food for thought speculation, but anyway, going back to the chart, it does look as though the high pressure is going to start trying to get itself going over Scandinavia on this GFS 6Z run into the second week of October. Right, GM looks like this. If you enjoyed the video, please go smash the like button. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Make sure you sub to the channel. Drop a comment. Let us know what you think. GM looks wet and windy across the country on at midnight on Monday. So that's a cold front pushing through. That leads us into a proper unsettled spell for the middle of next week. Bouts of rain and also strong winds. There might be gales in the north with that around the middle part of next week. Still unsettled into the second half of next week with further low pressure bringing areas of wet weather. Right at the very end of a GFS, GM run, I should say, we start to pull up some warmer air from the south. So heights again rising to our south and east, but the difference is in the position of the ridge. So this is starting to pull up much warmer air again from the south. So by day 10, Monday 4th of October, the GM is going quite warm and is also turning drier. And then the ECM looks like that. So again, we've got the cold front coming across the country overnight Sunday into Monday, bringing heavy rain and then a significant drop in temperature through the rest of next week, looking unsettled with low pressure just regularly coming in off the Atlantic, bringing bouts of wind and rain in from the west. And we get to day 10, which is midnight on Monday 4th of October. We're just looking very unsettled, low pressure into the west of Ireland. It's spreading bands of rain across the country. Pretty cool temperatures still, even then. So the ECM looking very unsettled and autumnal right the way out to day 10. This is the precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Tibetio.com. It's not completely dry at the moment. There are some showery bursts in the north and west, but many areas are dry and will remain so until the end of the weekend when we bring in the cold front. There's the cold front pushing through overnight Sunday into Monday, taking that band of heavy rain across the country, and then introducing much cooler and showery westerly winds. And then within those westerly winds, we bring in areas of low pressure, so just get these regular bouts of heavy rain moving through the country with showers in between. And yeah, you know, the areas of rain are coming and going throughout the period with lots of wet weather right the way up to day 10. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10. Gets us to the 4th of October from the Icelandic Met Office. 24 members out of the ECM ensembles, including the control and the operational run. The operational run is the run we just looked at, of course. Going for low pressure to be in off the Atlantic at day 10. So the majority option is wet and windy at day 10. 16 have low pressure more towards our east and higher pressure towards the northwest. So that is still very unsettled as well with that option. The difference is it is cooler as we're bringing in winds from the north. And then 11, sort of raising the heights to our south and also to our east. It's kind of more like what the GM is doing, I should say. What the GM does at day 10. Raising the heights to the south and the east and bringing something a little bit drier and also warmer up from the southwest. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. We go back towards red here, interestingly, so higher pressure on most of these options. This gets us to the 9th of October. We have 23 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure just to our west-southwest, and with that, we're bringing in winds from like the west to maybe slightly northwesterly direction, turning a bit dry. Could still be showery in the north, but turning a bit drier, and temperatures probably lifting up. We've got 14 that have high pressure reaching from the Atlantic to Scandinavia. That's going to bring a lot of dry weather with it, probably bringing in winds from like an east-south-easterly direction, which is not guaranteed to be overly warm. And then 13 with high pressure sat right over top of the country and reaching north. So that's going to be mainly dry, probably quite cool, I would have thought. With that, we'd like to be bringing in a wind from like an easterly or northeasterly direction. So I wouldn't anticipate that would be particularly warm. Might even be cold enough for ground frost at night, but will be a lot drier, you know. So it does look as though this unsettled spell that is definitely setting up next week. There's no doubt about that. We are going to get several bouts of rain and wind next week, but it does look as though this unsettled spell might be quite short-lived, actually, and we probably won't have to wait all that long into October before we get ourselves back to higher pressure. Remember, GavsWeatherVids autumn forecast always suggested that both September and October would have a lot of high pressure influences. So if we do get back quickly to high pressure through the early part of October, then it wouldn't be a great surprise. But I suspect it will be a significantly cooler area of high pressure compared to the one that we've had during September. CFS V2 lastly for October looks like this. Very strange looking anomaly. So there's lots of blocking around Canada and extending towards Greenland with a 700 millibar height on it. But we also have high pressure around Spain and going into central parts of Europe. Probably some lower pressure around here in the middle of the Atlantic between the two ridges. So yeah, it's a very sort of odd looking pattern that for October. I'm not sure the CFS is quite got a handle on you know the pattern for October, and it is late in September now, so you expect the CFS to start firming up on what's going to happen with October, really. Temperature anomaly is no better than average, no particular signal, I don't think, the temperature anomaly, and the precipitation anomaly also has no particular signal, so looking very sketchy, really, with October. Or in October with the CFS. I suspect there's, you know, a lot of variation going on, bit of a mixed bag type October with varying air masses and whatnot. Probably. Right, if you enjoyed the video, then please can you smash the like button, make sure you sub to the channel. Thank you so much for doing that. Don't forget to tell your friends and family to subscribe as well. We have passed 12.1k. We're on our way to 12.2k now. Thank you so much for doing this and getting us this far. Drop a comment, let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. Right, so that's it for today's upload, but not for the content, because we are going to have a live stream after 10 o'clock tonight, so I shall see you live after 10. And just to tell you what's coming up over the weekend, so tomorrow we'll start with a 7 a.m. Forecast. We will be, after that, releasing the season model roundup, winter 2021-2022. So for the first time this season, we're going to get like 16 long-range models together, and we'll see what they're all showing for the winter for the first time. That's coming up tomorrow morning. We'll have weekend forecast as well as a 10 to 14 day tomorrow. And then on Sunday, we'll have 7 a.m. forecast again. We'll have part 1 of the 4th winter 2021-2022 update. And be live streaming at 6 p.m. on Sunday. And then part 2 of the 4th winter update will be released on Monday evening. Right, okay, you enjoy the rest of your Friday. I shall see you live tonight after 10. But for this one, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.